All right, welcome. You ever get that feeling that you're just not seeing the whole picture? Well, today, we're going to explore some really powerful and sometimes totally conflicting explanations for how our world actually works. So, let's dive in.
This all really kicks off with a feeling that I think a lot of us can relate to. That nagging sense that things are just off, that things don't quite add up. And that feeling is what really drives people to search for a deeper explanation, a way to make sense of all the chaos.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to look at the world through 4 totally different lenses. First, the hidden hand of secret control. Then, the official machinery of public government. After that, the invisible hand of individual choice. And finally, the digital frontier, where brand new rules are being written as we speak. Ready?
Okay, so our first lens, this one suggests that what we see on the surface, the politics, the news, the financial crises, that's not the real story. The idea here is that global events aren't random, not at all. They're actually carefully orchestrated by a very powerful, very secret group.
So the central idea here, and this comes straight from our source material, is this belief in a long-running conspiracy. It claims that a secret group, you might have heard of them called the Illuminati or the Deep State, or in this case, Luciferians, is pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And their end goal? To create a single, unified, new world order.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Through this lens, evidence isn't just about facts and figures. It's about hidden meanings. For example, proponents of this view see this numerological breakdown of the 9/11 flights as proof. They believe that major events are encoded with specific occult numbers, kind of like a signature left behind for those who know how to look for it.
And it's not just numbers. This viewpoint also digs deep into official stories, looking for things that just don't add up. For instance, it focuses on these major delays in the military's response on 9/11, arguing that the standard established procedures for intercepting a plane like that were, for some reason, deliberately ignored that day.
And this is really the linchpin of the whole theory. The real power, according to this view, isn't armies or politicians. It's money. The idea is that by controlling how money is created, literally printing it from nothing, and lending it to governments, this group creates national debt, which becomes the ultimate invisible tool of control over everyone.
All right, let's totally switch gears now. We're going to put on a completely different set of glasses and look at a world run not by secrets, but by, public, messy, out in the open political processes.
You see, from this angle, financial power isn't some hidden conspiracy at all. It's actually a tool of national security, and it's talked about openly, right in congressional hearings. The U.S. government, for instance, uses the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency to enforce its policies around the globe. It's not a secret, it's a strategy.
And this slide, this really nails the dynamic of the official machinery. It's this constant tug of war between really loud public fights over things like subpoenas and tax returns, and on the other side, the quiet, behind-the-scenes cooperation that's actually needed to get laws passed and keep things running.
Yeah, so the world through this lens is definitely not run by some silent, all-powerful group working in unison. It's actually shaped by these really public, sometimes pretty fiery power struggles between different parts of the government. It's these open confrontations where the real deals are made and power is fought over.
Okay, time for lens number 3. And this one flips everything on its head. It says the world isn't shaped by top-down control at all. Not secret control, not public control. Instead, it argues that everything is driven from the bottom up, by millions of us just making our own choices.
The big idea here is something called microeconomic adaptation. And it's pretty simple, really. It's the theory that big solutions to huge problems like climate change don't come from some grand central plan. Instead, they just emerge. They happen because millions of people and businesses make tiny adjustments in their own lives, responding to new challenges and incentives. And this is a perfect example of how that works in the real world. Think about air conditioning. No government committee ordered everyone to get one. It just happened. As it got hotter, more people wanted AC. That demand drove mass production, which made prices drop. Suddenly, more people could afford it. And the result? A huge market-driven drop in the number of people dying from extreme heat.
At its core, this whole viewpoint is about one thing: flexibility. It's about our amazing ability to adapt. When something gets too expensive or hard to find, we just switch. We find an alternative. That simple act of substitution, multiplied by billions of people, creates an incredibly resilient system that can handle huge disruption.
All right, let's get to our last lens, and this one is all about technology.
But it's not just about tech as a tool. It sees tech as this wild, new, chaotic place, a digital frontier where the old rules just don't apply anymore.
And this one cuts right to the heart of it all. Who controls the new money? The whole explosion of crypto and digital currencies throws a huge wrench into the other worldviews, which both rely on somebody, somewhere, being in charge of the money supply. This new frontier is forcing us to ask, who gets to write the financial rules for the future?
So right here you see a massive collision between our other worldviews. You've got the official machinery on one side trying to fit this new technology into the old boxes, to apply existing rules and sanctions. And on the other, you've got this decentralized market that's designed to exist outside of that system. And what's really telling is that, according to our sources, the official regulators seem to be hesitating, even pulling back on a lot of their enforcement actions.
And this really shows you what's at stake. This new digital frontier could be incredible, right? All that convenience and connection. But it can also lead to something much darker. As one of our sources puts it, it could lead to a world of total surveillance where every single thing you do is tracked. Which, funnily enough, sounds a lot like the ultimate fear described in the hidden hand theory.
Okay, so we've looked through 4 totally different lenses for seeing the world, right? You've got the hidden hand of a secret plan, the official machinery of public fighting, the invisible hand of personal choice, and the digital frontier of wild new technology.
So it all boils down to this first big question. Is everything that happens part of some grand design, a master plan? Or is it just the chaotic, unpredictable result of billions of people all making their own decisions at the same time?
And that leads to the next question. Where is power really located? Is it concentrated in the hands of a few, whether they're meeting in secret boardrooms or in public hearings, or is power spreading out, becoming decentralized in global markets and on the blockchain?
Look, each of these stories, each of these lenses, gives us a compelling way to make sense of all the noise out there, but they can't all be the main story, right? So the real challenge, and this is the final takeaway, is for you to look at the world around you and just ask yourself, which lens, or what combination of them, best explains what you see? What do you think is really making the world work?